Now I just want to have a bit of a chat with you about water pumps. Now depending on the sort of aquarium that you're running is going to depend on what your water flow requirements are. So if you've got a standard freshwater aquarium, say goldfish or tropical aquarium, you're probably looking for around 6 times an hour water flow. On the other hand, if you've got cichlids, you're really worth increasing that water flow significantly. Because with cichlids you tend to have a lot of fish in the tank, so therefore you want to have a lot more capacity for redox potential and gas exchange. So you want to make sure that your water flow is at the surface, agitating the water as much as possible. Because one of your aims with water flow is to make sure that your top of your level of your water surface is not flat. Because when the water is flat, it creates a high surface tension, so gas exchange doesn't really occur. So we want good water flow in the aquarium, we want the water to be well agitated. So more so for cichlids, so let's say we go for more 8 or even 10 times an hour for cichlids or even more. Then if you start to talk about marine tanks, we want more again. Because your oxygen saturation of a marine tank is significantly lower, therefore we want more water flow. So I'm usually wanting 14 up to 20 times an hour water flow. So plenty of water flow is usually the key. You'll find the tank stays cleaner, you'll find your oxygen levels remain higher, your redox potential will be higher, and there's a whole lot of benefits for water flow. So there's various pumps that you can choose. So the first pump I'll talk to you about is a Powerhead. Now a Powerhead is basically a pump that's going to sit on the side of your aquarium and just pump water. So it doesn't really have any head height. I want to position it up near the surface of the water, so when it's blowing, I want the surface to be really well agitated. So from a Powerhead, the next you've got is a water pump. Now a water pump you'll often put down in the sump, and this thing's going to experience head height. So therefore, let's say that this might say it's a 5,000 litre an hour Powerhead or water pump, but then by the time it pumps up 4 foot, then that might knock it down to say 3,000 litres an hour. Then it's going through elbows, which are reducing the flow even further, and it's experiencing friction loss. So as the water is pumping, the friction in the actual hose itself is going to reduce its water flow. So it would be quite foreseeable for a 5,000 litre pump to actually generate 2 or 2,500 litres of water flow to your tank. So you really need to take that into consideration. And it really isn't a science, it's really a matter of estimate what you need and then overestimate what you get. Because I rarely see any problems for overestimating, unless you get ridiculous. So you've got water pumps, which you tend to put in your sump, and then you've also got, on the lower scale, you've also got things like your all-in-one filters. And then this is basically just a water pump, often set with a venturi, so it sucks air in as well. So once again, it needs to agitate the surface, it needs to move the water, but then they've often got a sponge on it as well. And the sponge can work both mechanically and biologically just to filter the water. So no matter what sort of fish tank you've got, it doesn't matter whether it's a pond or an aquarium, water flow is a real issue. Surface agitation is something to really focus on. If you do have a pond as well, there's 2 types of pumps you want to consider. You either want a dirty run pump, which means it'll pump solids, so it'll pump the crap from the pond into your filter, or you want a fountain pump. And a fountain pump will need to be pre-filtered to make sure no pebbles or anything like that will go in, and which can actually stuff the pump up, which can obviously be a problem. So when you're looking at the aquarium, you want to consider, we need to have plenty of oxygen, so are we going to run it on an air pump or are we going to run it on a water pump? And if we are going to run it on a water pump,